Wednesday night, the Heat moved to 18-1 at home with a win over the Spurs. Kendrick Nunn went for 33. Bam Adebayo, 14 points, 13 boards, 7 assists. Goran Dragic knocked down 5 threes for 17 off the bench. And Miami outscored the Spurs by 8 in the fourth quarter in a 106-100 win. 4 days later, the rematch in San Antonio. Here we go. Bam to Jimmy.
Jimmy playing a little bully ball himself.
Miami up by 11 early on. Goran Dragic loses it there. On the other end, Derek White, Patty Mills,
pull up.
Transition 3.
When he makes that first one, he gets dangerous because he can knock him down in streaks.
And LaMarcus Aldridge embracing the three-pointer as well. He's back to shooting those. He hit 2 of 4 in this game. Spurs up by 6 at the half. Tight in the second half. Kendrick Nunn.
Had nothing else to do, so I guess I'll shoot it.
Jimmy Butler to the rim. Miami takes a 3-point lead. DeMar DeRozan came in with 13 straight games with at least 20 points and 50% shooting. Just got to 20 in this one. Also had 9 boards and 9 assists. Here's Dragic. Been really good off their bench. Floater.
Yeah, Goran found a nice little rhythm coming off that Miami bench. Play makes and scores for him.
That tied it, and then Kendrick Nunn puts them up by 1. He finished with 18.
He's still been solid all season long for a rookie.
Yeah. Derek White gets a hand in. Spurs on the run. Aldridge with the finish and 1. He had 21. Spurs up by 4. Dragic uses that screen into the paint up top. How about that late in the game?
Nice dish to Bam.
Bam goes for 21, 15, and 6. Jimmy Butler on a drive here. He's fouled by DeMar DeRozan. They call goaltending on the back end of the play, which means count the 2 points for Miami. Called it a continuation play. Greg Popovich initially didn't want to challenge. Becky Hammond basically talked him into it, and they wound up wiping away the goaltending and taking it side out instead. Game continues. Patty Mills blocked on one end. Duncan Robinson to tie it. Decent look for a really good three-point shooter. Wouldn't fall, and San Antonio hangs on to win it 107-102, finishing the game on a 10-4 run. Spurs get the season split. DeRozan did get his 14th straight with 20 points or more, but did not extend his 50% shooting streak because he went 7 of 16 on the night. Unlike that win in Miami we showed you a minute ago, the Heat fell flat late, shooting just 8 of 21 in the fourth quarter and 0 of 7 from three-point range. So I'll start with Miami as we consider these two teams. The Heat have been one of the best stories of the season so far in the Eastern Conference. Do they have enough to close games when it counts?
I don't think so. I mean, you know they're going to play hard. You know that, Jimmy Butler would probably be that guy. So far, the guy who's been doing it for him down the stretch has been rookie Hero. And I see tonight, he played a little less than 9 minutes. So he wasn't out there hurt to provide that. But, I think that they still need a little, Jimmy Butler needs a little help, somebody else when the defense keys on him that can consistently get it done for them, especially coming down the stretch.
Yeah, I agree. I think that I like Butler. Butler's not afraid of the moment, makes big shots. Bam Adebayo has been playing fantastic. His ability to pass the ball has really impressed me this year. I knew he could rebound. I didn't, his shot and his scoring and assisting has, really come up. And then they got the two left-handers, Nunn and Goran Dragic. They're both, it's odd. Two really good left-handers on the same team. You very seldom see that.
And Justice Winslow coming off an injury, another one, yeah.
Exactly. And so I like him because they're scrappy. They're going to fight you every single night. But boy, in playoffs, at times you need a couple guys just to get your buckets. And Jimmy hasn't been as efficient as he normally is. Yeah. He's getting to the line enough so that his numbers look good, but he's not shooting the ball really well down there. No, and he's kind of a little bit out of rhythm. But they're a dangerous team. You don't want to play them because besides Milwaukee, I don't know if I'd take any other. They could beat any other team I think in the East besides Milwaukee.
They'll grind you for sure.
Yeah.
As for the Spurs, they've got this 22-year playoff streak going, which is amazing in and of itself. But right now, they're out of the top 8, a game and a half back of the Grizzlies for that final spot. What's it going to take to break through into that top 8?
They just got to keep playing. Every time I count them out, last year I'm like, they'll never. They get better and better and better. And if they do a typical Popovich, they got the rodeo trip coming up. They're going to get on that trip, hopefully find some footing, come back, have a bunch of home games left, just because the way the season always works out for San Antonio. They have that long road swing, a lot of home games, and they'll win some games, and they'll hang it around there. If I had to bet, I'd say they will find a way to be in that 8th spot. At what point am I wondering is when they just kind of blow this team up and should start over again? That's always been my question with this team.
Well, that is a tough question. It's a question we've been talking around for a couple of years now. Are we close to that?
I don't think so. I mean, if you look at the history of the Spurs and Popovich being there, not really liking to make midseason
No, they don't do that much.
moves,
They also had really good teams for many years.
Yeah, they have, and I think that, they've had a lot of inconsistent play, especially at the center position, tonight they started Trey Lyles at the center position. I think they expected more of him. They expected more of Pirtle. I think one of the things that they can consider doing is maybe just going ahead and starting LaMarcus Aldridge at center, playing small, spreading the floor out. They missed Bertans, who was a shooter for them, in the past. And so just, they typically, as Kevin said, get stronger as the season goes on. And I wouldn't bet against them in terms of making it in the 8th spot.
Just never really got it going so far this season. They started the season 3-0, but they have not matched that win streak at any point since. More coming up here on Game Time. On the way, the hottest team and its heady rookie, Ja Morant. Will be a big part of the MLK Day schedule. What to look for Monday on the other side.
That young man is fun to watch.
What my mom told me, that I was beneath no one.
Ja Morant. Stutter step in the lane, hangs. Jam with a right hand. Oh, what a move by Ja Morant.
Your first NBA contract.
It's kind of took me back to draft day. I feel it.
Right now, make it hard on yourselves. Don't take the easy way out.
Defense to offense. Let's keep getting stops and running.
Ja Morant with a thing of beauty. Jaren Jackson with a posterizing jam.
It's a good city. Me and my family very laid back, so we didn't want to be all in the mix of everything. This is my daughter. She's doing a lot of sleeping right now.
Don't sleep. He is the heavy favorite for Rookie of the Year.
I fell in love with basketball from being around it with my family. I played with some of the older guys. I think this what made me tough, because he didn't allow me to call fouls. I was like, foul him all you want, just don't hurt him. My workouts was crazy. After every drill, you got to jump on the tire. Obviously paid off.
Whoa! Morant trying to hammer one. This kid plays nothing like a rookie. What a ridiculous finish from Ja Morant!
When I look in the mirror, I just see a dude who's been through a lot, faced a lot of adversity, but didn't give up.
Splits, three, Hornet defenders.
With 0.7 of a second to go.
Let's go!
The favorite for Rookie of the Year, smack dab in the middle of a quadruple header on MLK Day between NBA TV and TNT. Toronto and Atlanta here on the network. Then TNT has the Pelicans, Grizzlies, Lakers, Celtics, and the Warriors and Portland Trailblazers. And let's start with the Pelicans and Grizzlies. There figures to be lots of offense. During a 7-game win streak, the Grizzlies are one of the best offensive teams across the board in the NBA. Pelicans certainly put up points as well. What are you expecting out of those two when they get together?
Much of the same. You see a lot of Brandon Ingram scoring the ball. Lonzo Ball's playing better. Memphis, Valanciunas has been dominating a little bit more inside. And, obviously the play of the young rookie, Ja, exciting play, and Jaren Jackson Jr. So I think it's going to be a lot of fireworks on the offensive side.
What's impressed you most about the Rook so far?
Ooh, he just got savvy. He doesn't play fast. He plays at his own pace. He doesn't get rushed. He just makes plays. And Valanciunas is living off. I mean, he got to give Ja Morant half his contract. He's driving in there and dropping things off, and Valanciunas is catching and finishing. But the kid is just really, he just knows who he is. And he plays to his strengths all the time. You very seldom see him take really bad shots. You very seldom see him do things that, where you go like, ugh, what's he doing? You watch him play, and you go, oh, good play, good play, good play, good. So he makes good play after good play after good play. And when he's coming at the basket, his ability to spin and cleverness with the ball and finishing around it, he's really, I really enjoy that kid. And then you add on top of all that, he's a freakish athlete. So every once in a while, he'll do a dunk on you. But that team's playing well. And, the Memphis is really overachieving from what I thought they would be due to him mostly, I think. And he has a He's got something. He's got that something, man. And it's hard to put your finger on it, but when you see it, you know it. And he's got that little special it that when you're playing with him, Brian, you're running the wing a little harder. You're doing some stuff because he's going to make the right play.
Plays like a guy who's been running a team for a really long time, among other things. Zion Williamson is expected to be back on Wednesday against the San Antonio Spurs. How does that affect Brandon Ingram, who's been on a little bit of a scoring tear here lately?
Well, it affects my television viewing, so I got to watch that. I was planning on doing something else, but no, Wednesday night, you're telling me he's playing Wednesday, Matt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we think he's playing Wednesday.
Well, there you go.
They're targeting Wednesday.
I got big plans on Wednesday, which I'm changing, so I just got to know. I really like him. I just think he doesn't hold the ball. You look at Zion Williams, he just plays. And if Ingram will just go out there and play basketball, I think he'll be fine. I think the only time you really having problems when young teams, whose team is it, who's the man, and these egos get involved. If they just put their egos aside and just go play basketball, they could really be a fun team. Because Ingram's added strength, he doesn't look that much stronger, but he's absorbing now contact and probably more used to the NBA too. More used to getting into people's body and then shooting the ball off of some contact. But I've been impressed with him. His improvement has really been great. Getting Zion there should be fantastic. And those guys got to be looking at this like, hey, let's just be the really new dynamic duo. Let's see how good we can get. And they're both so young. So it's fun times in New Orleans right now.
Speaking of offense, or in this case, offense, the world champs are on a tear offensively during a 3-game win streak. All right, I'll stop my Canadian accent. They're averaging over 130 points a game on nearly 57% shooting, just under 48% from three over the last 3 games. And some of that has to do with the fact that they're finally healthy again.
Yeah, I mean, you get Gasol back, you get Van Vliet. Siakam back, and so now they're finding the rhythm. They have their pieces, and these guys, they all have championship pedigree. They've been here, they had it before. So, they're finally starting to find that, and it's starting to show in their play, especially on the offensive side.
Well, the Raptors meet a Hawks team that made a move last week to bring in former All-Star Jeff Teague back on the roster now, and this, guys, is one reason why. The Hawks are nearly 17 points per possessions better with Trae Young on the floor than they are off the floor. It's the biggest gap for a single player in the whole league. They're also about 9.5 points better defensively with Young off the floor, but that's another matter altogether. How important is it for a young team, regardless of the record, just to find some balance? And in this case, with Teague presumably coming off the bench, having a little more balanced attack all in all.
Yeah, he's just trying to get better. I mean, for a young guy, and look at Trae Young put up unbelievable numbers. They've done spectacular things. But at a certain point, you got to win games too, and you got to learn how to win. And so, he offensively is a tremendous player, but he's got to get better on the defensive end. And hopefully, Teague can come in and settle down a little bit. Teague plays a little bit off the ball. So can Trae Young. Maybe they can play a little bit of 2-guard and just change up. Collins has been good for him since he's been back. He's active. But they've got to start winning just more games and be competitive. And they got to. There's 2 things in this league: you can go play in this league, or you can win in this league. They're playing in the league, and everybody gets paid, and everybody gets everything, Brian. But winning in this league is way harder than playing in this league. If you have a little bit of talent, it's way easier to put up numbers than it is to put up wins. Winning consistently is hard, and they need to start winning more consistently with that.
You have to also think that part of that move is just having a pro who's won at a fairly high level in Teague's case, just in the locker room and there to help mentor, even if it's just by playing when Trae's not in the game, in Jeff Teague. The league does it right. The Martin Luther King Jr. holiday is a celebration all over the NBA.